Imagine if the very thing that feels like it's crushing you right now, the setback, the disappointment, the pain, wasn't actually here to break you, but to build you. What if I told you that your struggles are not permanent, but the strength, the wisdom, and the purpose you gain from them will last forever? When we face difficulties in life, it's easy to think that the situation we are in will never change. The pain feels permanent, the setback feels final, and the struggle feels endless. But the truth is, struggles are not meant to last forever. They come for a season, they arrive for a reason, but they don't stay for a lifetime. What lasts are the lessons you carry from them, the growth you achieve through them, and the wisdom that remains after the storm has passed. Struggles are temporary, but the impact they leave on you is permanent. Think about the hardest moments you've been through in your past. At the time, they felt like mountains too tall to climb. They felt like chains you could never break. But now, when you look back, you realize that season didn't last forever. The heartbreak eventually healed. The financial struggle eventually turned. The failure eventually opened a new door. Yet the lessons you learned in those moments still guide your choices today. You are wiser, stronger, and more resilient because of what you went through, not in spite of it. That is the permanent gift of temporary struggle. When life throws obstacles at you, you have two options. You can either focus on the pain of the moment, or you can focus on the person you are becoming through the moment. If you let the pain blind you, you'll miss the lesson. But if you push through with an open mind and a determined heart, you'll find that the very thing you thought was breaking you is actually building you. Pain is a teacher, struggle is a mentor, and obstacles are opportunities in disguise. They don't last, but what you take from them lasts forever. Consider the story of a seed planted in the ground for time. It is buried in darkness, surrounded by pressure, unable to see the light. But the pressure doesn't last forever. Eventually, that seed breaks through the soil, reaching upward toward the sun. Yet the process of being underground, of enduring that temporary darkness, is what gave it the strength to grow roots deep enough to survive above the surface. In the same way, your struggles are not permanent. But the strength, character, and endurance you develop in the dark don't stay with you for life. Every great achievement in history carries a story of struggle. Athletes push through injuries. Students endure sleepless nights. Entrepreneurs battle countless failures before success finally arrives. The struggles didn't last, but the lessons did. They walked away with a resilience that couldn't be shaken, a perspective that couldn't be bought, and a wisdom that couldn't be learned from comfort. That is the permanent truth. The pain passes, but the person you become through it stays. Do you want me to continue expanding each of the other key points into the same 500-word motivational style so you can have the full detailed speech piece by piece? Struggles often feel like heavy weights pressing down on our shoulders, making us question if we can endure one more day, one more hour, one more step. In those moments, it's tempting to believe that struggles exist to tear us apart, to strip us of hope, and to rob us of our dreams. But that is not their purpose. Struggles don't come into your life to destroy you. They come to shape you. They are the chisels that carve out your character, the fire that refines your spirit, the pressure that transforms coal into diamonds. What feels like destruction in the moment is often construction in disguise. Think about a sculptor working on a block of stone. To an untrained eye, it might look like the sculptor is destroying the rock, chipping away piece by piece, breaking off chunks, creating cracks and fragments. But what the sculptor is really doing is shaping something beautiful, revealing what was always inside the stone. That's exactly what struggles do in your life. They chip away at what doesn't belong, fear, doubt, insecurity, and they reveal strength, resilience, and greatness that was hidden within you all along. Without the struggle, the masterpiece would remain covered. When you face difficulties, it's important to remember that they are not here to define you, but to refine you. A setback is not proof that you are weak. It's the training ground where your strength is tested and proven. Struggles push you beyond comfort, and comfort has never produced champions. Growth never comes from the easy road. It comes from the road with hills, obstacles, and detours. Struggles shape you by forcing you to tap into levels of determination you didn't know you had. They shape you by demanding creativity, persistence, and discipline when the easy path has been blocked. There are countless people who never reach their potential simply because they misunderstood their struggles. They thought the challenges were there to crush them, so they gave up too soon. They walked away before the shaping process was complete. But those who rise, Those who break through are the ones who embrace the struggle as part of the process. They don't see it as the end of their story, but as a chapter in their transformation. That mindset is what separates those who crumble from those who conquer. Think about steel being forged. It must go through extreme heat and pressure to become strong enough to withstand the test of time. If you take it out of the fire too early, it remains brittle and weak. The same is true for you. The heat you're experiencing, the pressure you're under, it's not there to ruin you. It's there to strengthen you, to shape you into someone unbreakable. So when the struggle comes, why me? Start asking, what is this shaping me into? That single shift in perspective can transform despair into determination. Every struggle carries the seeds of growth. Every challenge is an invitation to rise higher, to dig deeper, to become more than you were before. Every person you admire, every champion you look up to, every success story that inspires you has a background filled with struggle. It's easy to see their victories and assume they had an easier path, that somehow they were born lucky, or that success simply came knocking on their door. But behind every highlight reel is a history of setbacks, rejection, sacrifice, and perseverance. The truth is, greatness is never handed out freely. It is forged in the fire of difficulty, and every champion has walked through that fire. Think about the athletes who stand on podiums with medals hanging around their necks. What we see in that moment is the glory, but what we don't see are the years of waking up before the sun, the endless hours of training, the injuries that almost sidelined them, and the pain that nearly broke them. For every moment of victory, there are countless moments of struggle hidden behind the scenes. They understood that the road to success isn't smooth. It's filled with potholes, obstacles, and detours. And yet, they kept moving forward because they knew the struggle was part of the price. The same is true for entrepreneurs, artists, leaders, and visionaries. They all faced moments when the world doubted them, when doors were slammed in their faces, when failure seemed to shout louder than their dreams. But instead of letting those struggles end their journey, they used them as fuel. They let the rejections sharpen their skills, let the failures teach them new strategies, and let the pain deepen their resolve. They became champions not because they avoided struggles, but because they endured them. It's important to understand that struggles are not signs that you're on the wrong path. In fact, they are often proof that you're on the right one. If the road is easy, it usually doesn't lead anywhere worth going. The people who achieve the most are the ones who push through the hardest battles. They keep showing up even when the results are slow, even when people stop believing, even when quitting seems like the most reasonable option. Champions are built on consistency through difficulty. There's a pattern you'll notice among those who achieve greatness. Every single one of them had a moment when giving up looked like the best choice, but they didn't give in. They had a reason bigger than the pain, a vision greater than the struggle. That vision gave them the strength to press on when others fell away. They understood that the struggle was temporary, but the reward would last. The next time you feel overwhelmed by what you're facing, remind yourself that the people you admire once stood in the same place. They felt the same weight, the same doubts, the same pressure. What separated them from the rest was not luck or talent alone. It was their ability to push through the struggle until they reached the other side. Strength is never developed in comfort. No one builds endurance by walking an easy path, and no one becomes resilient by only experiencing smooth days. Just like in the gym, where muscles grow only when they are pushed, stretched, and challenged with weight, life builds your character through resistance. Struggles are the weights of life. They might feel heavy, uncomfortable, and even painful, but every time you lift them, every time you push through, you get stronger. Without resistance, there is no growth. Without struggle, there is no strength. Think about the process of physical training. If someone only lifted light weights that required no effort, their body would remain the same. It's only when the weight feels too heavy, when the muscles burn, when the body wants to give up, that real progress is happening. The same applies to life's challenges. The problems you face may feel overwhelming, but those very problems are shaping your endurance and toughness. They are forcing you to reach deeper, to find strength you didn't know you had, and to grow beyond who you were yesterday. Every difficulty you encounter is like a workout for your spirit. That financial hardship you're enduring is training you to be disciplined with resources. That relationship pain is teaching you resilience and compassion. That career setback is building your persistence and determination. Each struggle is a form of resistance, And each time you push against it instead of giving in, you're building strength that will serve you in the future. The endurance you gain today equips you for the victories of tomorrow. People often ask for strength, but they run from the very process that creates it. They want courage without facing fear, patience without delay, success without failure. But life doesn't work that way. Just as an athlete cannot skip training and expect to perform at the highest level, you cannot skip struggle and expect to be strong. The very situations you're tempted to resent are the ones that are shaping you into someone capable of handling greater challenges and bigger blessings. If you look at anyone who has achieved greatness, you'll find a trail of struggles behind their success. They didn't become who they are because life was easy. They became strong because life tested them. They learned to endure sleepless nights, overcome criticism, rise after defeat, and stay disciplined when nothing seemed to be working. Resistance became their training ground, and endurance became their advantage. When you face a struggle, it's not a signal to quit. It's an invitation to grow. Every challenge is a weight added to the bar, and every time you lift it, you're preparing for a heavier load in the future. Life doesn't hand strength to people. It offers resistance, and strength is earned through persistence. The very resistance you hate today is the reason you'll be unshakable tomorrow. Pain has a way of convincing us that we've done something wrong, that life is unfairly punishing us, or that we're not good enough. In the middle of a difficult season, it's natural to feel like the weight you're carrying is some kind of penalty for mistakes, shortcomings, or failures. But the truth is, pain is not punishment, it is preparation. Every obstacle, every setback, every sleepless night, and every disappointment is equipping you for something greater. It is molding you into the kind of person who can handle the opportunities and responsibilities that are waiting just beyond your current struggle. Preparation always comes before promotion. Think about a soldier who is sent into battle. Before they ever step onto the battlefield, they go through intense training. They are pushed beyond their limits, tested in harsh conditions, and drilled until they're exhausted. That training is not punishment. It's preparation for the fight ahead. The same is true for you. The difficulties you're experiencing now are conditioning you for the next chapter of your life. They are sharpening your mind, strengthening your resolve, and teaching you skills you'll need when a bigger opportunity arrives. Sometimes preparation comes wrapped in pain. You may lose a job only to discover that it pushed you to pursue a calling you would have ignored otherwise. You may experience heartbreak only to find that it deepens your understanding of love and teaches you to value what truly matters in a relationship. You may fail publicly, but that failure becomes the very thing that fuels your creativity and resilience. None of these experiences are wasted. They are all tools in the preparation process. If you pay close attention, you'll realize that your struggles have been teaching you lessons you couldn't have learned any other way. Discipline, patience, perseverance, empathy, courage, these are not taught in classroom. They are taught in the trenches of life. Pain strips away your comfort and forces you to grow. It introduces you to strengths you never knew you had. It reveals a level of determination you didn't believe existed within you. When you begin to see pain not as punishment but as preparation, it transforms how you endure it. Instead of asking, why me? You start asking, what is this preparing me for? Greatness requires preparation, and preparation requires pain. Diamonds don't form without pressure. Gold isn't pure until it's refined by fire. And leaders aren't built without trials that test every part of their character. The very experiences that feel like they're breaking you are the ones that are preparing you to rise higher than you ever imagined. So the pain you're carrying right now is not a sign that you've been abandoned, forgotten, or punished. It is a sign that you are being prepared, strengthened, and equipped. The weight you feel today is building the foundation for the future you've been dreaming of. And when the time comes, you will see that every struggle was part of the preparation for your breakthrough. Nothing you go through in life is wasted. Every heartbreak, every failure, every closed door, every tear, and every disappointment carries value. In the moment, it's easy to think the struggle is pointless, that the suffering has no meaning, or that the setback is nothing but a waste of time. But when you look back, you begin to realize that each experience was shaping you, teaching you, and preparing you in ways you didn't recognize at the time. Life doesn't allow pain to pass through your hands without leaving something behind. Every single thing you endure leaves you with wisdom, strength, or perspective that will serve you later. Think about a puzzle. When you're holding one piece by itself, it looks random and meaningless. You can't see the bigger picture by staring at one fragment. But when you put all the pieces together, you see how each one fits perfectly into the whole design. That's exactly how struggles work. A single painful experience might not make sense on its own, but when it connects with all the other moments of your life, you realize it had a purpose. That moment of loss, that season of waiting, that time of rejection, they were all necessary pieces in the bigger story of who you are becoming. Failures, too, are never wasted. Failure teaches you lessons that success never could. It humbles you, sharpens you, and forces you to reevaluate your approach. The person who has never failed is unprepared for real success because they lack the depth that failure brings. Every failure adds to your toolbox. It equips you with resilience, new strategies, and the understanding of what doesn't work. Eventually, those lessons guide you toward what will work. Even pain that feels unbearable carries value. Heartbreak teaches you empathy. Struggle develops your patience. Betrayal shows you the importance of discernment. Waiting strengthens your faith. Each of these experiences may feel like they're breaking you down in the moment, but they are actually building you up from the inside. The very things you thought were sent to destroy you are often the things that prepare you for the blessings ahead. If you talk to anyone who has achieved something meaningful, they will tell you that the difficult seasons of their life gave them the most valuable lessons. The disappointments shaped their determination. The struggles revealed their true character. The failures redirected them toward better opportunities. None of us was wasted, even though at the time it felt unbearable. The key is to change how you view your struggles. Instead of seeing them as random, see them as teachers. Instead of believing they're wasted time, recognize them as building blocks. Each challenge is a deposit into your future, adding depth to your story and strength to your character. Nothing is wasted because everything you go through leaves you with something that can push you forward. Temporary struggles have a way of testing who you really are. They push you to your limits, expose your fears, and challenge your willpower. But the truth is, they only break the people who decide to quit. When you throw in the towel, when you give up in the middle of the process, you turn a temporary challenge into a permanent defeat. On the other hand, if you choose to endure, if you push forward despite the pain, the same struggle that could have broken you will instead build you into someone stronger. The difference between being broken and being built isn't the size of the struggle, it's the decision you make in the middle of it. Struggles are like storms. Storms don't last forever, they eventually pass. But if you abandon the journey while you're in the storm, you never reach the calm on the other side. Many people let temporary struggles convince them that the fight isn't worth it, so they give up too early. They walk away right before the breakthrough. They stopped trying just before the tide was about to turn in their favor. That's how temporary struggles become permanent losses. But fighters, those who choose to stand firm, understand something different. They know that pain has an expiration date, but growth does not. They know that if they keep moving, even if it's just one small step at a time, the struggle will eventually end and leave them with strength they never had before. Every time they resist the urge to quit, they become more disciplined. Every time they push through one more obstacle, they become more resilient. They walk away not just surviving the struggle, but transformed by it. Think about a runner training for a marathon. In the middle of a long run, their body screams for them to stop. The muscles ache, the lungs burn. The mind whispers that quitting would feel so much easier. If the runner gives in, the struggle ends, but so does their growth. They remain stuck at the same level, unable to improve. But if they fight through the pain, if they push past the urge to quit, they cross a threshold that makes them stronger faster and more prepared for the next challenge. The temporary pain built permanent endurance. The same principle applies to every area of life. If you quit in the face of financial struggles, you never learn how to manage money wisely. If you give up when relationships get tough, you never learn how to grow in patience, forgiveness, and communication. If you stop chasing your dream at the first sign of failure, you never discover the strength and creativity it takes to succeed. Struggles don't define your outcome. Your response to them does. Every time you choose persistence over quitting, you turn struggle into strength. Every time you refuse to let a temporary situation dictate your permanent identity, you come out of the fight stronger than before. Temporary struggles may test you, but they only break the ones who surrender. For those who keep going, they become stepping stones to something greater. When struggles come, most people's first instinct is simply to survive. They want to make it through the storm, to get by until things calm down, to breathe again once the pressure lifts. Survival is important, but it is not the ultimate goal. Life is not about just enduring challenges. It is about transforming through them. When you face struggles, you have the chance to let them change you in powerful ways, to rise from them stronger, wiser, and more capable than you were before. The real victory is not that you survived the struggle, but that you became someone new because of it. Survival means you come out the same person you were before the difficulty. Transformation means you come out better. Struggles offer you this choice every single time. Will you let them break you down so that you just barely make it through? Or will you embrace the process and allow the struggle to reshape you into someone who can handle greater challenges? Transformation happens when you stop asking, how can I just get through this? And start asking, what can I learn? How can I grow? Who is this struggle shaping me to become? Think about the caterpillar that enters the cocoon. Inside that dark, confined space, the caterpillar isn't simply surviving. It's transforming. It goes through a painful, hidden process that eventually gives it wings. The struggle of being confined, the pressure of change, the difficulty of breaking free from the cocoon. Those things aren't meant to be endured passively. They are meant to transform the caterpillar into a butterfly. In the same way, your struggles are not meant to leave you the same. They are meant to give you wings. When you simply survive, you come out of struggles with scars. When you transform, you come out with strength. Survival says, I made it through, but I'm exhausted and bitter. Transformation says, I made it through, and now I am stronger, wiser, and more determined. The struggle itself is not what determines the outcome. It's the mindset you carry into it. If you see it only as something to endure, you'll miss the opportunity to grow. But if you see it as something designed to change you, you'll walk out of it a different person. Transformation also means using what you've learned to impact others. The wisdom you gain from your struggle isn't just for you. It can help someone else who is walking through their own storm. Your story of transformation becomes someone else's source of hope. That is why it's so important not to waste your struggles by only surviving them. They are meant to be fuel for your growth and inspiration for others. Every struggle has within it the power to shape you into the person you're destined to be. It's not enough to endure the storm. You must let it teach you, refine you, and elevate you. Surviving a struggle proves your resilience, but transforming through a struggle proves your greatness. Purpose is one of the few things in life that outlast everything else. Pain fades. Circumstances shift. Struggles rise and fall like the tide. But the purpose that is planted deep within you remains unshakable. When you go through hard times, it can feel like the pain is all that exists, like it will never end. Yet every painful season eventually loses its grip, while the sense of meaning and mission you discover in the process becomes a permanent part of who you are. Struggles are temporary guests, but purpose is a lifelong resident. Pain comes in waves, may crash against you with force, but it cannot remain forever. The body heals, the mind recovers, the heart learns to move forward. But what doesn't leave is the transformation that pain produces when you refuse to let it break you. That transformation connects you to purpose. Pain sharpens your focus, showing you what really matters and what doesn't. It strips away distractions and teaches you to hold on to things that carry lasting value. It's through struggle that you begin to realize your purpose is bigger than your circumstances, bigger than your failures, and bigger than the temporary discomfort you're facing. Purpose is what allows people to endure hardships that would have crushed them otherwise. When someone has a clear why, the how becomes bearable. Think of individuals who have suffered great loss or gone through extraordinary challenges, yet turned their pain into platforms that inspire and change lives. The pain didn't last forever, but the purpose they found through it became a permanent calling. That's the difference between being consumed by pain and being transformed by it. Pain is fleeting, but purpose is enduring. When you understand your purpose, you stop seeing struggles as enemies and start seeing them as trainers. They are shaping you for what you are called to do. Every setback prepares you to lead with greater empathy. Every disappointment equips you with deeper wisdom. Every delay strengthens your patience so you can handle bigger opportunities. None of this happens by accident. The temporary struggles you face are directly connected to permanent purpose you carry. There will be times when your pain feels unbearable, when quitting looks like the only option. But in those moments, remembering your purpose can give you the strength to keep moving. Pain may push you to the edge, but purpose pulls you forward. Pain may make you question everything, but purpose reminds you why you started in the first place. Purpose is the anchor that keeps you steady when everything else feels uncertain. And at the end of the day, pain is a season, but purpose is a legacy. You won't be remembered for the tears you cried or the struggles you faced. You'll be remembered for how you turned those struggles into strength, how you turned pain into perseverance, and how you lived out the permanent purpose that no temporary storm could take away. Struggles may be loud, but they are not your identity. Too many people allow what they are going through to define who they are, when in reality, struggles are only a chapter in the story, not the title of the book. Circumstances change, seasons shift, battles eventually end, but who you become through those experiences is what lasts. The mistake people often make is letting a temporary situation convince them that it is their permanent label. They say, I failed, so I must be a failure, or I'm hurting, so I must be broken. That is not the truth. You are not your struggle. You are the person who is growing, learning, and evolving through it. Your identity is bigger than your circumstances. What you face today does not have the power to erase who you are or who you are becoming. Struggles are part of the journey, but they are not the definition of the traveler. Just because you're walking through a storm doesn't mean the storm is who you are. You are the one carrying resilience inside of you. You are the one building endurance as you keep stepping forward. When the storm passes, your true identity remains standing. Think about a diamond buried in the ground. At first glance, it looks like nothing more than a rough, unpolished rock. The dirt surrounding it hides its beauty, and the pressure above it makes it nearly impossible to find. But the diamond's identity doesn't change because of its surroundings. Even when it's buried, even when it's under pressure, it is still a diamond. The same is true for you. Your struggles may cover you in dirt. They may place you under pressure, but they don't alter your value. The circumstances are temporary, but your identity is permanent. It's important to realize that the choices you make in struggle define you more than the struggle itself. A setback doesn't define you. Your response does. Failure doesn't define you. Your resilience does. Pain doesn't define you. Your perseverance does. Every struggle gives you a chance to choose who you will be on the other side of it. You can let it shrink you, or you can let it grow you. You can let it strip away your hope, or you can let it reveal your strength. The power has never been in the struggle. It has always been in you. When you decide to anchor your identity in who you are becoming, struggles lose their control over you. They can shake your plans, delay your progress, or challenge your emotions, but they cannot change your worth. They cannot take away your potential. They cannot define your destiny. The storm may rage, but it cannot write your name. Circumstances may shout loudly, but your true identity will always speak louder if you choose to embrace it. In the end, struggles are temporary, but the strength of character and the identity you build through them will stand long after the struggle is gone. Struggles may be temporary, but the person you become through them is permanent. Every trial is a test. Every setback is a lesson. And every moment of pain is preparation for the purpose planted inside you. Don't let the weight of today convince you that tomorrow isn't worth fighting for. Endure the struggle, embrace the growth, and remember, the storm will pass, but your strength will remain.